Dirt, I miss that. Dirt, gotta get back to it. I've been the Kenny Wallace of the rap game. Ever since I hit him with that dirt track thing. Now nationwide, everybody knows my name. They're like, mama, that's Kenny Montgomery. He sings that song we like. Yeah, boy, that's me. Roll out the trailer, I'm flossing.
And welcome back to Throttled Up the podcast. And we are excited today to be joined by, as I said the other day, the legend himself, Matt, the P3, Steve Peeden.
Legend in his own mind.
And actually really excited about also being joined by the two ladies from M2 Designs that make some of the coolest cups I've ever seen. So, but we got Steve here too.
They're my DD.
It takes two of them to get you home?
Well, I hit Uke tires, so they're scared what the hell I done on 65. So
They didn't know how many truck tires have been left off on 65.
there's surprisingly a lot if you look.
Steve, let's jump in here, man. We've had you on before, and like I said, we joked and
Well, he didn't get a show by himself last time.
No, he had to bring Tyler with him.
Yeah, I had to bring that.
That's
too,
because he needed a DD again.
There's a consistent theme here.
It's all water.
Yeah, same here. And
Yeah.
mine. But last time, we've had you on before, and I was laughing before we went live on the air because I said that, we have this relationship that we don't really like each other, and we put it out there for the world to know.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you still coming down, though.
No, that's I have that relationship with quite a few of my close friends, and like if you've seen some of the texts, you'd be like, oh my gosh, like these guys hate each other, but that's just how a few of us communicate, and that's how it works. I'm sure people, and if they've seen your post to me and my post to you, be like, why are they doing this podcast? But it's all fun and games.
That's how we send it. We're that way to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta be, man. It's 2020 is such a crap year anyways, you know what I mean? So my mom told me I can't cuss tonight, so I gotta say crap, so you're welcome, Mom. But
We'll see how long that lasts.
yeah, true.
Well, it's like I
Close
said.
the slid.
After a couple of the posts I put up about you and my wife, she's like, but I thought, like, hearing you talk, you like Steve. And I'm like, I do like Steve.
Yep.
She's like, but everybody else, you say nice things before they come on. I said, but I wouldn't do that about Steve. Because
Nah, it's all good.
one of the
thick
best
skin.
one of the best was when I had the post, though, and made you Wheelman Wednesday when we were doing the Wheelman Wednesdays. And I forget which one of you ladies commented on it and said, wow, this was really nice.
That was me, yeah.
Yeah. That caught me off guard.
Yeah, it was a full,
Yes.
actual nice post.
He's like, now what's he going to do?
Nah, it is what it is.
So let's go back, though. And, 2020 has been a crazy year. And, obviously the racing schedule was turned up on its head. And, it's just been nuts. Looking back, how do you feel like 2020 went for you?
Well, the past 4 weeks, we've literally been checkers or wreckers. That sums it up. We started off the year pretty decent. I bought this capital car off Rainey, and he told me, he said, don't touch it, just leave it as it is. And I mean, the first couple nights we were second and third right there in contention. The very first night I hit a Uke tire, broke my thumb, but we still ended up third. And so it's just it's been a great year, but it's been 2020 all in one. So I mean, we kind of got off there end of July and August because I like to change stuff. I don't have time to go test, so my testing is in the garage staring at it, and then we're gonna try it on the track. And obviously it's not gonna work in the slick. I'm good when it's heavy, but that's why I went back to everything was standard. So that's kind of a testament to Capital.
But how hard is that? When you're sitting in the garage, and obviously you can't go test, but you're looking for tenths of a second to be successful. Do you have to coach yourself and say, like, leave it alone, leave it alone, leave it alone?
Personally, I do, yes, because like in the super stock days, I had my very first super stock was a Rayburn car, and I put 3 front clips on it and 2 rear clips. So I knew everything about that car. Well, when you go to a late model, it's not a stock stub front clip, and you know what I mean. Your idea of, as long as the caster camber and kingpin, all your front end is right, that goes out the window on a late model, because everything's got to be together as far as roll steer. You know what I mean? Just everything works as one, not as individual like a super stock does. So.
All right,
You lost him, man.
I
yeah,
did.
you talk mechanics.
I think he's saying, like, if you do something to the right rear, the left front changes also.
Yeah,
you got to watch it.
The super stock, like
well, if you hit the Uke tire, the left front changes too.
Well, when he said he put 3 front clips on that super stock, he must have had Uke tire problems for a long time.
we did. I tell you what, I won like a lot of races in that race car, so it done something right.
No,
yeah,
he just
literally.
spun out in hot laps in his
Yeah.
super stock.
Yeah. We went to Charleston, Illinois, right? We roll in, looking at. You always kind of look at the competition, you know.
Well,
like,
absolutely. You size everybody up.
kind of got this in the bank, went out there hot laps and completely stepped on it, dumped it. And I'm like, kind of tail between my legs, kind of like I was last weekend, you know. But then I ended up winning the feature, so that was not like last weekend. So.
Zach Burton says, and this is a good question for you. The Terre Haute guardrail versus the Brownstown Uke tire, who wins?
That's all bullshit. I'm sorry, Mom, but come on. That's the thing. At Terre Haute, this is 2 years in a row at Terre Haute. The first year I got burnt. Okay. The first year I got burnt, and me and that driver have still not talked about it. He approached me this year at Terre Haute, and he said something about it, and I told him that's still a sore subject with me. But anyways, I didn't even hit the guardrail. It's the freaking berm.
Beside the guardrail.
Yes,
Yeah.
like the left front. Like I get so close, and I remember thinking I'm pretty close to this guardrail, and all of a sudden, it literally, the dirt in the air, the way it all works, it grabs that left front nose and just dumps you, and I tore the shit out of it, the fender, and
going
2 years in a row, same exact spot. No, I'm not same exact spot. 2 years in a row.
Going back to our messages, though, because even though we give each other hell, you've always supported us with the podcast and things we do. The day after Terre Haute, I get a picture of the Thirsty Goat sticker on your car. It said, "This thing won Saturday night. I put this sticker on at the guardrail."
That was the worst part about that is Saturday night we went to Shady Hill for at $2,000 and we won, and then we go to Terre Haute and tear it up. So. And that was a long day in the shop. So.
And that's one of those where, you know, as much as we give each other hell, I think I just commented back and said, well, I think at first I said, yeah, Capital race cars, because that was the only other thing in the picture.
Yeah. But to answer Zach's question, the Terre Haute guardrail is cheaper than the Brownstown Uke tires. By far.
Let's go back even before, and we were joking about this earlier, but I put out your highlight reel, which you didn't appreciate.
We did.
I watched like 4 hours of backyard go-karting, and I found the best clips I could.
Yeah. That was all within the first 20 minutes.
But that's not true, because the back half had you in your cutoff shirt when you first came out. I mean,
that was within 20 minutes. It was over it.
No, but I do want to say this, and for people that don't know what we're talking about, go back to Dirt to Media's Facebook page and look up, go to the videos. There is backyard go-kart racing, and that was one of we were all locked down with COVID. There was no racing anywhere. It was one of the funnest days that I've had in a long time. I mean, Ryan called me, and he's like, hey, they're doing this backyard go-kart racing thing. Do you want to go live broadcast the entire thing? And I don't know that there's ever been a broadcast team that showed up to the backyard go-kart races,
Wow,
but
that was legit.
It was awesome.
I remember Morgan texting me and saying Dirt to Media is going to be here recording. So I found a go-kart like the next day. It was on.
Yeah. And I got to give a shout out to the M2 girls, because we didn't think we needed a tent, but they came in real clutch with us for a tent, because we were going to be hurting if we didn't have one.
Yeah. It was fun though.
It was.
For what it was.
Yeah, so go watch it though.
Don't watch it.
Yes, please
No.
do.
Watch the next week that nobody recorded where I waxed them first time out.
Again, I did give you hell all day long. That's where the spin cycle Steve came from. My wife did say her favorite quote for me announcing was, "Steve's made a lot of circles today, just not around the track." And
that's legit. And I watched that video you posted today, and I'm like, oh my god, like that thing just done.
But I also
instantly.
remember that next week I get again a picture from you in Messenger, and it's the cart on the scales, and you're like, "Oh yeah, it's coming back," and I'm like,
I leaned on Mike Fish for information and Google.
But I gotta say, man, that was one of those where when you look at like who racers are and just the competitiveness and the fun, and that was one of those that I appreciated being a part of, and it was a blast, and it was a rough day for you. I won't deny that, but.
Plus, I pulled a muscle in my back before that. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you did. I forgot about it. You couldn't
hurt.
even unload the car.
Yeah, no.
You were hurt.
Yeah.
But what'd you roll into? What were you playing?
Huh?
When you came into the yard, all I do is win.
All I did.
Yeah.
Was win. Yeah.
And then he got out for his cart and put his whole
Yeah,
race
I put the
uniform
race-
on.
yeah.
I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. You ever went from a badass to nothing, Matt?
Yeah.
Well, I did too.
Speaking of Zach,
When I feel like that, I just go hang out with Dustin, and I feel like a badass again. My self-esteem goes right up.
I would see. I understand.
glad I can do that for you. Speaking of Zach Burton, another great quote was when I was interviewing him on the broadcast. You spun out and he goes, "There goes Steve again, just like all day."
Yep. No words. But hey, congrats to him. He had a baby.
Yes. Big congrats. That's that. Yes. Which
My favorite quote from him this weekend was, I pulled in the liquor store to come to the Fun Fest, and when I walked out, I realized I didn't have my race car hooked to the back of the truck.
Yeah. He told me that when I was paying to get in.
Yeah.
I done that little there's a meme on you can put on your text. It's kind of like, what?
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, he left the house, went to the liquor store, and then realized the car wasn't hooked to the truck.
And it didn't fall off.
that's
So-
that's
oh
Fun
boy.
Fest in a nutshell, right there. I made sure I had beer, but I forgot the car.
He didn't hit the uke tire though.
He was all about the fun.
But yes, congratulations to Zach on a new baby boy, and oh boy, that's
Yeah.
scary.
Oh boy.
Cade, right?
Yes, Cade. Yep. So Steve, looking back at this year, what were the high points? You did win. I know that in the last few weeks it's been records or checkers. You've had some lows, but you won some big races this year too. What were some of those high points for you?
we run that 2 grand at Shady Hill, and everybody looks at Shady Hill like it's kind of like your cherry picking track, but it's not. Like when we go to Shady Hill, we got to change all of our shocks, all of our tires, because they run all UMP 40s up there, RPM chip, and when I went there the week before just to kind of test everything, and I forget what I ran second. I think I ran second, and they pulled out a tire barometer on me. They checked my RPM chip. They put a magnet on all my shocks. They went through me completely. So I'm like, whatever, So that's why I don't feel like Shady Hill. It is kind of the facility needs updated drastically, but they still paid $2,000 win for a crate race. You know what I mean? And
you didn't get black flag there like Rainey did.
right, exactly. Yeah. That's what happens when you drive into people. I just hit uke tires.
But I don't know. I actually don't know if he got black flagged. He said they pointed it at him, and I was like, I think they
Yeah.
warned you about it, and he
Yeah.
just pulled off anyway.
No, he flat said he took care of him. He told me that last week. Robert has no filter, just like his dad. They're going to tell you how they feel. That's what makes them awesome.
We were up there, and it was pretty rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love. Isaac is Isaac, but I love that Robert is really starting to develop
Yep.
that now that he's in the car.
Yep.
Like,
It is what it is.
zero worries.
Yep.
This is what I'm going to tell you.
Yeah. But no, that was our biggest one. That was the biggest one in my career, 2000, which is awesome, And then obviously winning at Brownstown. Yeah, I mean, we only had 2 wins this year, but wait, hey, we were heat race heroes there. We could really lay it down in a heat race. So it's I guess that's the highlight of my year.
Talking about that, how frustrating is it as a driver when, and I'm going to say this, I could keep just knocking on you, but you did have some great heat race runs, and you had a lot of bad luck in features. I mean, there was a lot of situations that were out of your control that cost you spots or finishes. How big of a struggle is it when you end up, you had a fast car from the heat race and things don't go the right way in the feature?
Huge. It's a huge confidence killer. But like even after the Bowman, that deal, still mad at you, Matt. First thing I heard when I got on the track is Peeden spun out, and did not spin out. But anyways, we'll talk about that later.
We gotta let people be mad at me, man.
But no, like that whole week was hell, trying to get everything ready, and I mean it was nonstop. And my fiance Jamie, I literally seen her at night when I got in bed, and that was it. You know what I mean? So, it's all about keeping your head up. That's what I think. That's the biggest thing with anybody is keeping your head up and trying to keep digging.
Let's go to the Bowman 50 for a second. And I do want to say this, and I know that Matt didn't see it, because I will be honest, there was a lot of people up at the tower that didn't see it. I was watching you on that restart, and I immediately said, Hedgecock took him out.
Right.
And everybody else is like, no, I think Peeden spun. I'm like, no, I watched him. He drove right into his right rear and spun him right back into the field. And it was funny because I saw it and I thought, how did everybody else not see it? But it was the angle.
Right.
But
no, it was because I felt it.
Yeah.
And when I was sitting there on the track, I knew who was behind me. It was Tyler and it was Hedgecock. So when I got out of the car, I locked eyes with Tyler. And I know Tyler was staring. I could tell he was kind of like bug-eyed. And he would never like point or nothing. And then when they told him to pull around, he pulled around. I never lost contact with him. I locked my eyes and he done this. And I thought, okay, I knew it was Hedgecock, but I needed that confirmation that we weren't going to have a bad wedding.
I was going to say, you needed to figure out if there was going to be a wedding or not.
Yeah. Instead of walking her down the aisle, I was going to trip her down the aisle.
and I told you this that next day, and I meant it because obviously it was a major crash. I mean, pile up that happened. And standing up there on the roof, my first thought was, I just want to see Steve get out. I just want to see Steve get out. Again, as much shit as I talk to you, I actually do like you and care about you, and I wanted to see you get out. But then when you got out and you started pacing the track, I thought, I just don't want to see Steve get himself in trouble.
Right.
I just don't want to see Steve get himself in trouble.
I really wanted Tony Stewart my helmet, but I worked overtime over the winter to pay for that $1,500 helmet.
I'm like,
and that's the thing. Like my fiance Jamie, she's like, whatever you do not throw that helmet because that's a high dollar helmet.
It was honestly the and I can't imagine for your family and everybody else, but for my emotions, it was like, hope Steve's okay. Oh, he's out. Oh, they're coming around.
Yeah.
Oh, this is not going to be good.
No, and that's the thing.
We got his back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Regardless.
you guys should know these two do have my back, and that goes with Tyler too. They have Tyler's back, but I had to. It's the Bowman 50, Jackson 100. There's so many people there that you gotta
be smart.
You gotta keep your shit together. That's all there is to it. I mean.
Because you don't know who the sponsor is that may be sitting there watching you that's interested in sponsoring you.
Right, and that's the thing. Like Kurt Spalding with All-Star came up to me, and All-Star helps me out. They have ever since I was in Superstock, and Kurt's an awesome guy. So, like, if I was Kurt and his driver lost his crap on the track, I'd be like, you know what, this really ain't worth it. You know what I mean? So,
well, and you know that after it happened, in the age we live in, every cell phone was then recording.
Right.
And it was going to become a viral clip if you threw your $1,500 helmet at him. If something happened, then it's going to be viral. and there's nothing good that comes out of that for you.
Right.
So-
No, you're right. And the older I get, the more I feel like I've chilled out a lot as a driver, as a person. And a lot of that's because of my daughter. I don't want her seeing fights and, everything else like that. So, and when there is a fight, like down from us or whatever, I take her in the trailer and
Okay.
Okay.
Way to go, man.
all I'm saying is I didn't get in any altercations all year.
Neither did I.
I can't say that.
On my defense, though, my angle there, I really didn't see.
No, I
No.
know.
So.
You can tell that from Dirt Media's view.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just happened that like from where I was on the roof, I was locked on you because it was a restart,
Right.
and I mean, again, obviously I pull for you and Tyler and all you guys are up there, and it was just one of those where I just I watched him drive into you, and I'm like,
Right.
he totally just overdrove the corner. And again, I had the chance to watch Hedgecock race down in Tennessee at the beginning of the year with the ACAS, and he runs that Topless Super Series, and watch him race down there. And obviously, the dude's talented. Don't
Right.
get me wrong; he can drive, and he's got great equipment. And I just thought, like that's like I couldn't comprehend like why and how he did it. Like it was just one of those like it was I couldn't understand it because I thought there's a lot of other guys out there that I would see running over your right rear. I
Right.
didn't think it would be him.
Thought it'd be Tyler, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, if you go back and watch your highlight, there's a couple times Tyler ends up on top of your go-kart. So that was
It's his house, his rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, that says houses rules.
but no, I mean it was a bad situation all
It
around.
was. And it took out a lot of good cars. I mean, me, Tyler, Humphrey. I know Humphrey is parked on top of me, probably thinking I dumped it, but I didn't. You know what I mean? Like, it took out a lot of good cars. And would we have won? I don't know because I went so hard early, and then I even watched my video. Like I was literally half throttle, but then Tyler and them started catching up to me and everything else, and a lot of it's because we were coming into traffic and they were 3 wide, and what do? You know what I mean? You're not gonna drive off the track and pass them, and you're not, you know what I mean? But would I beat Hedgecock? Who knows? But we had a really good car that night, so.
I will give him credit for owning it when I did interview.
Yeah, I'd never heard that. So
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
told me that, kind of, I guess
Yeah.
there's a little relief. You know what I mean? Kind of
yeah, and
calm me down. I get anyways, because when I screamed his name when he drove by me in the pits, he kept going,
kept going.
really fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
and I
didn't
will
even
say
stop.
this, and again, and I joked the next day with you that it was to me and Chelsea because we were the only two people standing in the stands when he actually came back out as the winner. But I do give him credit because a lot of
Right.
guys would have just moved on from it.
And that was one of the first things in his
It was
interview.
the first thing
Right.
he said. He said, I feel bad I dumped the leader, and
Yeah.
it's on me. 100% my fault. And so I will give him credit for that, even though, sorry, for a Tennessee boy, you come to Indiana, we're going to roll with our Indiana guys. So you're
There's
still
a lot of money on the line too.
Yeah.
I mean it. You know what I mean? And that trophy. So
Here's what I want to know, though. I've never sat in a driver's seat at all.
But he dogs everybody that does.
must be the beard.
What?
Well, that's the only hair he's got.
What? I did appreciate, though, that you said everybody tune in for the roast of Matt Staples and his son, Dustin Roller. So he did point out that you're old enough to be my dad.
Oh, I am.
But
I'm old enough to be but Rob. Rob's the only one I'm not old enough to be.
what's it feel like when you get turned right back in the field? I got to think
that's the
like,
worst freaking feeling in the world. Literally, because you can't do nothing.
you're just there. I
And,
mean,
like, all you see is cars coming at. It'd be like
sitting in the middle of 65
yeah,
looking
that's what I
back
was
at
gonna say.
everybody.
Go to 465 and just lock it up, turn around backwards. You're gonna be like, whoa. So, and that's the thing. Like, where it was, nobody had anywhere.
No,
to
it
go.
was-
I mean, it is what it is. It's not like I could drive off the track or drive through the Uke tire. You know what I mean? Like,
No, because the guys that missed you were high and low,
Yeah, like
and the
it-
guys that couldn't miss were
out of racing, that's the worst thing in the world is being turned in front of the field
yeah.
or being first first group of hot lap qualifying. I hate that. Oh my
Those
God.
two are equal.
Yes. Because wash day is 2 hours longer. That's all there is to it.
Late models to roll on the track, please. Late
Yeah.
models to roll on the
Oh
track.
no, we don't. This is the first group.
Yeah, no, it's the first.
We only ask
How
him to
many
do.
ti- count
We
how
only
many
ask him to
times
do
I was
that
in
when
the first
Peeden
group.
draws a low number and he's in the first group.
Yes.
We're like, hey, Steve's in the first
Yeah.
group. Let's let him roll the track.
Steve drew a 99. Guess what? First group. Every time, never fails.
We inverted the numbers this week,
Yeah,
Steve. You're in the
exactly.
first
See,
group.
we give him the chance to win the first heat race to start on the pole, and he still bitches.
Yeah,
See,
I do. You're damn right I do. You're damn
no
right.
matter what you do, Steve's got a bitch.
Hey, time is money, and that extra time on wash day. Yeah. You see all these people there with me, but on wash day, nobody's.
Really, it's
Well,
Why
that ain't
is
cool.
that?
That ain't cool to hang out at wash day, man.
Yeah, they got stuff to do.
you got to start hanging out with those guys, the figure eight guys. Get you a few more people.
Yeah,
may
no
hang
joke.
around on watch
Yeah,
day.
no joke.
Oh God.
Everybody else complains when they got to start in the third heat because they can't start
I'll
in the
take
front
a third
row.
heat any day. Any day. I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there that'll agree with me too. If not, they don't wash their own stuff.
Well, we do try to pull you in the infield sometimes, though. Let you be the
but-
second group of the first heat.
After you've rolled the track.
After you roll the track in.
And then drove through the infield. And all of it.
Got to get down low.
Throw
so
all
you
the
get
grass
all
up
that
in there.
stuff.
and-
Yeah.
We want to make sure you make weight, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No problem with that.
I can say I never thought you would compare being turned in the front of the field to the first group of heat race
It's about the
qualified.
same.
but
About the same.
perfect.
A lot of people agree with me.
Hey, before we go any farther, though, I know that you got some sponsors and some people that definitely help you get to the track, and I want to give you a chance to shout those out for us.
Yeah, definitely. These two ladies, M2 Designs, they got this awesome cup deal going, which I don't know if people can see this one. This is my custom one. All my sponsors on it, and it's one of a kind. Can't be replicated. I mean, for the right price, it can.
Yeah.
But they're doing awesome for what they have, and that's like they got some big name people that they're doing cups for, and people don't realize.
Well, and I got to say, my only knock on them, and they did, my cup here too as well, which is amazing. I asked for the no smoking circle with the line over the P3, and they wouldn't do it. And I thought when they said custom cups, I could actually get it customized. But the P3, I wanted that no smoking circle, and I couldn't get it. But
I just don't know how all three of them numbers can stay on the same cup without knocking each other off.
Oh, shit.
well, that's because the 3Z, he
It
left
is-
his car at home. He's at the liquor store. You don't
I
know
just
where-
noted the 3Z is a little bit bigger than the P3
yeah, I
and
don't
the
know. Yeah.
Well, Zach's short, so we tried to make him feel good.
20. We should have brought the new stickers with the P3 and
Yeah.
the 20.
Yeah, let's read
Yeah,
it.
so we have these new stickers, and I don't know if people realize it or not, but it's the guy peeing on things. So I have one with the 20, and Tyler has one with the P3. And I don't know if they're both on our fuel cells. I don't know if people looked at them and been like, man, there must be some family drama going on there or something. But
that would have only made it better if it was Tyler that
I-
spun you out at the moment. If those two
That's the best
No.
part of those two racing is everyone watches our
us, yeah.
if there's gonna be if someone gets into someone is there gonna be an issue, you know what I mean,
Oh,
people
yeah.
watch us like crazy.
Me and Tyler race each other differently.
But before you
I can't believe people think that crate drivers get into each other.
I don't see it at all.
shit.
I don't see it at all.
Easy. We're gonna have to cut the
Easy,
one out of the
hothead.
two here.
But before we jump on to the next thing, since
He didn't get through all of his sponsors.
I
by
know,
the way.
but I before he jumps on to this next sponsor is what I'm saying. We do have the ladies here from M2 Designs. Tell people what you guys can do for them, because it is. I mean, some of the cups that you guys have done are amazing.
Charge
I mean,
them money and screw up cups. That's what they can do.
and Steve will be looking for new sponsors next year for the front of his race car.
Pay for my own cup.
Oh my God.
So,
See, no matter what, he
Literally
complains.
bitching all the time. All the time.
For those that don't know, these are my sisters.
Next year when he rolls out in the P3, it's Steve Bitch Peeden.
crowd would probably go wild. You know it?
And the Capitol sponsored by the Uke tires.
Oh my god.
Man, I'm glad alcohol makes me feel better. Sometimes.
I really thought I'd be the one, but I'm just sitting back now.
How much is Uber from here to Martinsville? Jamie's not going to come down here with me. So.
No, and Burton, he don't know where his race car is, so he's not coming.
So go ahead.
Yeah, like I tried to give you guys an opportunity to promote yourselves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can do pretty much any cup. I mean, any. We have a lot that want their driver decal, and a big thing with people is we have to have permission if it's a picture. Like Mark and Jamie, we have to have their permission to use their pictures. We don't just take them and put them on a cup. And driver decals, we have to have them from the graphic designer. And a lot of people just want us to, here, do this and do this. And, like, they want a lot of Hudson's cups, but they don't want, like, we have to go through Hudson for that. Like, same, like, Josh Richards. We have to go through Josh Richards when we do his cups. Like, it's not, we can't just.
You can't just use their
right.
stuff and
Right.
and make money.
Yeah. So, yeah, we have a lot going on right now. Our Pit Pass cups pretty much exploded. So, I think
That was the greatest cup I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It is.
That's
It's so
very
cool.
Yeah. So, we have a bunch of, we probably have over, like, I know at least I have over 70 orders right now.
So tell them, because people don't understand, how long does it take to make a cup?
Yeah, that's a great point. We talked about this off air.
Yeah. So if it's just a cup like the guy's cup with just paint, like the bottom, it takes probably like 24 hours because it just needs a cure. But if it's a glitter cup or anything like that special, it takes 24 hours for the glitter to cure, and then it takes another 24 hours for us to coat it again, and then we have to decal it. So that's another 24 hours to sit and spin, and then we have to go over it again. So it could be at least 3 to 4 days of one cup.
And
So if I order one tonight, I can have it by the banquet.
with 70 orders, you might be pushing it.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and I don't think some people understand this either, that you guys are hand making these cups.
Yes.
And I know we talked off air too, that, some people don't understand there may be slight imperfections. I don't want to knock it like you guys don't do a quality product. It's awesome. But you're doing them by hand. You don't have a machine that runs all this. You guys are literally producing each one of these by hand.
Yep. Each one we do totally by hand. And the glitter, I mean, we do all of it. We have to, we don't have anything that does it for us. So we have to print all of our own decals. And when people send them to us, and, I mean, it's all done by us.
They both have their own setup at their own houses.
Yeah.
So they can,
Yeah,
tag team them, right?
Yep, we just split every order that comes in. One goes to her, one comes to me, one goes to her, one comes to me. So.
Well, like I said, it is, it's been cool from the time you guys started, but you guys have really grown in what you can do, what you're offering. The Pit Pass cups are just amazing.
Yeah, I think those are cool.
It honestly, I feel, I'm kind of, jealous, I guess, because being on the media side, I don't ever get a Pit Pass. So I don't have any pit passes. So I feel
Really?
like, yeah, I don't.
Really?
So
Yeah.
you don't pay for anything? You don't pay?
I don't pay for anything. No. I don't even know if I'm.
Oh, yeah, you too.
Yeah, I don't get one either.
Wow.
I don't know if I'm supposed to, but I just walk around without anything. No one ever questions me.
I'll tell you what, when we go, you're the same way. When we go to another track and we got to go pay to get in, it's like, what's this stuff?
Oh yeah, it's rough.
They don't know us here.
Like, and I will say this. One of the best ones in all the things I've done, when I went down and recorded at Smoky Mountain Speedway, and I was up in their press box, and we were broadcasting the race, and when Roger Sellers turned around to me, and he goes, "Hey, now, there'll be a young lady that comes up here periodically throughout the night, and whatever you want from the concession stand, just let her know, and she'll bring it up here. It's on me." And I'm like, do what now? And, the first time she came up, I'm like, I'm good. And he's like, no, you get something. And I'm like, anything. And she just delivered it up there. And I'm like, God, I want to come to Smoky Mountain Speedway every week. Right? I'm sitting in an air-conditioned booth, doing all this. And
he needs to make money, Dustin.
she delivers. I know. It would hurt him.
Yeah, if he went every week, he'd probably shut
Well,
down.
and you've never seen my camera guy down there, Flipper. I mean, Flipper, he puts a hurt on him, too. It's a bad combination. So, All right, so
Jim only limits me to one trip to the concession stand tonight.
yeah,
Because I'm the same way. He'd go bankrupt with me.
he don't even let me get to the concession stand. I got to pay for that. That's where he recoups his money.
We told him me only one family member, and I was like, well, hell with my son then.
Oh, damn. Wow.
My son Dustin.
Oh, yeah.
So Steve,
I can see a resemblance. Like if you grew a beard,
Here.
you're a little more red right now than he is, though.
Yeah.
so the rest of your sponsors, Steve.
Mower Zone out of Danville. Awesome people. Obviously, we're not in mowing season right now, but they sell snow blades. They sell all kinds of stuff like that. Davis Automotive out of Bedford. Davis has been with me ever since I started racing, and obviously they can't build crate motors for me now, but they can change valve springs, and they help me out in other ways. That's tremendous. Circle City Plumbing is a new company out of Indy. Like I said in my Victory Lane interview the other night, if you go back through our Facebook page on our Steve Peeden Racing on Facebook, they're doing it's like 20% off of water heater installs and stuff like that. And it was through the race season, but I guarantee you, if you told Mike Cavanaugh there at Circle City Plumbing that you've seen his logo on my car, he's going to take care of you. And it's about that time. Water heater's going to start going out and all that. Obviously, M2 Designs, because I get so much from him. Josh Burton Racing. Josh Burton Racing. Awesome people.
I was going to say, that's the one I didn't want to laugh at after you just picked on him, too.
Yeah, they that Jerry and Darlene are like family to all of us, the whole Peeden family. And Jerry would literally take his shirt off his back if I needed it today.
Cool.
And that's just the kind of person he is. So, and they had one hell of a year too. So congrats to them with Hopkins and all that. So,
when I interviewed him the other night, so I let him sit in the car and not get wet.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody else got wet.
You're the one that won the race.
Okay, that was.
After
I'm
we had to
sorry,
wait
but
2
that I
hours.
was so aggravated with that because we had to do all the interviews after all the races, and then how many red flags were from the crate feature to the end of the night, and yeah,
Oh, we said the same thing. If we would have known.
I figured, yeah.
If we would have known,
Yeah.
but we were trying to
I
do the
understand.
right
I
thing
understand.
and get all the racing in.
But it rained
Yeah.
a lot that night. Not a lot, but it rained seemed like half the night.
I think the Hornets
Consistently.
raced the last 4 laps of their feature in the rain, actually.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Huh?
Which I got called out for.
And the flagman, kept
yeah,
throwing the.
I got called out for calling them buggies, but I got a lot of friends in Hornet class.
And we
Yeah.
all know that Steven cannot drive.
I cannot drive a Hornet. I
He
tried
showed
that
at
the
Bloomington.
celebrity race.
Yes.
I give those guys credit, respect. That's what you guys should start out. Guys should get in a Hornet and try it because you'll be like, oh, I don't want to drive a race
See,
car.
I really
I'm
want to
good.
get in a Crown Vic. That's what I want to. I
You gotta
really
do
would
a
like
Hornet.
to run the Crown Vic.
I do a Hornet.
I just want to stay in the tower and make fun of Dustin when he gets in the Crown Vic.
Oh, I'd be in. I'd be in for one race for sure. Now
I think I could beat Dustin though.
I would hit every Uke tire and probably a car.
I think I could.
Oh, you think?
I drove a Crown Vic for 8 years with my job.
True.
Man.
Fist fight, who would win?
Here's
Oh, I would.
what I would say though.
I'm meaner.
Just from our experience on iRacing, this is the difference. So he gets on iRacing over there the first time, and he's at Eldora in a late model, and he goes slow, and then he goes a little faster, a little fast. He's always under control. I'm the guy that can go 2 laps under control, and I'm like, let's let this thing eat. Let's see what it's got.
Right.
And I'm spun out, and then
And that's when I lap him.
that's that I just can't. I don't have that consistent like he's babying the throttle. He's like 20 laps in, and he's just starting to pick up speed, and I'm like, how you do that, man? You got to let it eat at some point.
Oh yeah.
And that's usually when I end up in the wall.
It's
So
called age, man. Experience.
you are old. I will agree with that. I will
Got a
agree.
point.
But I still got hair.
I don't know. But anyways, Durabuilt Performance. You do. That's pretty awesome. You should have came in with that thing spiked up. That's pretty awesome. Jimmy Cooper, JCE. He helps me out a bunch. Who else we got? High Side Designs.
All-Star
No.
Performance.
All-Star Performance. Capital Race Cars. Yep.
Oh my god.
This flagman. Tell you what, this flagman cost me a couple positions one night because the way he does 2 to go, he like shakes them. Okay, so when you come out of the corner and it's real dusty, all I seen was a white flag, or I seen a flag. I thought it was the white flag. When we came back around, I thought it was checkered flag. So I lifted, and I know Brad Barrow passed me, and I thought, man, Brad must be mad or something because he passed me pretty fast, for the cool down lap.
Cool.
And all of a sudden, Tyler blows by me. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I went from 3rd to 5th. That's big on pay. Big on pay.
So you can't tell the difference between a black and white flag and a white flag.
True.
I mean, it was dusty.
I was tired.
He's bitching.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I mean,
I was tired.
let's
That's the night. That's when we ran Farmer City Thursday night, Friday night. Came home Friday night. Got home like 4 or 5 in the morning. Swapped the car over and then went straight to Brownstown.
let's just be honest.
He has 3 foot by 3 foot checkered flags. If you can't see that checkered flag, then
No, he's a great flagman. Just when he waves them, and you kind of glance,
I'm going to say this in defense.
I don't know if I'm going to make him. It's going to be Steve Bitch Peeden or Steve
No.
Excuse Peeden.
boy.
I'm gonna.
Oh boy.
Time out. I'm going to defend Steve here.
He's setting you up, dude.
He got to that close to the end of the race and not hit a uke tire. You got to imagine he's coming around going, no uke tire, no uke tire, no. Oh, it's the white flag. No
True.
uke tire, no uke tire. He's thinking that.
It would have been a better story if I hit the uke tire, but I didn't.
I thought I was on the white flag and I went into turn 1 and hit the uke tire.
I pulled in the
know,
pits.
yeah.
Everybody's like, "What happened?" And I'm like,
In the cool down lap, I took out the uke tire.
Guess what? You're not the first guy to do that.
"Yeah,
I believe Scott Bloomquist lost the World 100 because of that.
true."
So
But he's Scott Blomqvist.
Yeah,
Who are you?
and he hit the wall, not the uke tire.
who are you? That's what she says. Who are you?
I'm Steve Peeden.
I wish I would have known that. Steve slows down on white flag lap.
Oh man, I did. So now, like when that night we won, I'd never stopped. I seen the checkered flag, and I know that's checkered flag, but I'm gonna keep going, and I did. So
I will say, Jeremy Ogle did comment here and say that he's been a fan of you since the super stock days, and you've been a badass since back then. So
I appreciate that. I don't know about badass, but
well, it's obvious he's not watched you race. But,
no, I get a bad rap. I get the cocky attitude rap and all that, and I mean, it's not so much cocky. It's just I don't talk to people.
but see, that surprises me about you, honestly, because you've never been that way, like towards me, even when I first started with this. And
That
Not
was
to
your first mistake.
Yeah, not to your face.
no,
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
behind my back,
Yeah.
yeah. But like, I don't like. I would never say that you've got this like superiority kind of thing. Like,
What do you
I
want
don't-
from him, man?
nothing?
They're
don't
not.
have-
They're not going to give you a cup.
We don't
No,
have
he
t-shirts.
already gave me stickers.
Yeah, that's all I
I
had.
said I didn't have anything in front of my chair.
I
man.
found those in Megan's car. So.
But no, honestly, that one surprises me because,
Yeah.
but I think all drivers get a bad rap with that because I think sometimes fans and people want to come up and talk to them right there, 30 minutes before hot laps, and you're thrashing to make sure you got the car ready. You're in your zone, and that's when people want to come up and talk.
They
Like you,
do, and
2 hours before you were hanging out in the trailer,
Right.
you just said you rolled the car out, and you were good to go. So I think sometimes that's a tough thing is, you don't walk in and talk to, LeBron 20 minutes before he goes out and plays the NBA Finals either.
right, and we've always had like a small knit family. We're all real close, and that's kind of how we are at the racetrack. We just stick to our
Even
Us
in super
and-
stock days, we would pull into Bloomington
Yeah.
or wherever, and he would go to the back 40
I
by
would,
himself, and
yeah.
then just nobody. There'd be plenty of room, but he wanted the
Stay
back
there.
40 by himself.
get away from people. So how's Tyler Erb say it? Not here to make friends.
Yeah.
I mean but I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of people that would back me or have my back, and that's the thing. Like some keyboard warriors will get on Facebook or whatever, start putting all this stuff out there. But I have a lot.
I
of people,
shared a highlight video.
whatever. No, I have a lot of people silently that support me. Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
But yeah,
No, the keyboard warriors in this whole sport, and we've talked about it before, but they don't realize how much.
I've had a rant or two on here because of them.
They don't realize how much they trash the sport.
Right.
Honestly, I mean, it's who wants to come watch it? And don't get me wrong, there's things that happen. There's issues. We've discussed them on here, but to get on and just trash a guy that's working his ass off all week, to be able to put a car together, to come down and put on a show, like, I don't think people realize like how much effort goes in. Because I'll be honest, there's guys at the track that I'm not particularly fans of. I mean, the personality wise, I wouldn't go by and
then he does a show with me every Wednesday.
hang out with them. But
I can't wait till next
but
year.
even that, I respect what
Racing
they
Hornets.
do.
We're listening to you, Dustin. We're just talking shit here between us.
If we're ever on the same track, there's only one thing, and it's just you talk about Tyler Erb, I'll end up backwards on the hood of that car.
I got a car. It can't hurt. You guys can run.
but no, I don't think they realize, like,
Right.
I respect everybody that shows up to race, man. That's what allows us to do what we do. It's what puts on the show. Whether I like you as a fan doesn't matter, but I respect everybody that shows up, and it just cracks me up, the guys that get on and just want to trash somebody that have never walked down and had a conversation with you.
Right.
Like,
Or trash a track that's trying to give them a place to go race on Saturday night.
Right.
And, right as soon as the races are done, they're bashing it, over.
That was a big thing with COVID. I feel like Brownstown was trying to run, and everybody was just going crazy
Yes.
over the COVID
Because they
stuff.
never moved the Uke tires.
You move them for them. Why do they need to?
Yeah, 1 foot, and I hit it 100 mile an hour or whatever we run. Yeah. Yeah.
The problem is, even if they moved him all around Victory Lane, he'd win and then hit him coming into Victory Lane.
It'd be worth
But
it.
we won.
Yeah. Win's a win.
I do got.
They're there for everybody, but he hits them.
Yeah, I know.
I gotta say here that one comment we got here is that I need to get stickers made that say P3 coming to a tire near you.
Laugh it up.
Who?
Mike Fields, but not the Mike Fields.
You know what? Okay, so going back to last weekend, Fun Fest, here's my story. Because everybody thinks that obviously I was out of my mind. So
Well.
we started fourth. And Collins checked out there for a minute, and I reeled him in. And the lap before, so 2 to go, I rolled up, come out of 4, I rolled up on his left rear quarter. I thought if I can just get, I knew I wasn't just going to pass him where I was. So I thought if I could diamond 3, come off 4, get beside him, and we would end it. Even though it's just an odd or even feature, whatever it is, $100 a win, whatever it was, like a win's a win. And I know
Absolutely.
Collins feels the same way. So we came around there. I kind of messed up a little bit in 1 and 2, and I thought I know I can diamond 3, get a hell of a run off 4. Well, there's a lap car there, so it screwed me all up. And that's what I was telling my sisters on the way down. I'm like, it's like a racehorse with blinders. So I had these blinders on, and all I was focused on was not hitting him. I was focused on my nose to his left rear quarter because I knew I could almost pull him off of 4. And all of a sudden, boom. I mean, I never once seen that Uke tire. I was so focused on his left rear getting to it. And
Well, I was standing in the
What happened?
infield, and because the races were so quick, and Chelsea actually pointed, and I turned around, and your whole nose was just like exploding. I was
my
like,
God,
"What just happened there?"
Smoked it. So did I bend the clip? No, I bent. Everybody's wondering. I bent from the horns up. So I mean, it's a cheap fix of capital, but the problem is Isaac Rainey. He's a great guy, and he ruined everything for me Saturday night.
Yeah, we can talk about that next.
Yeah, so Robert told me, he's like, hey, why don't you drive my car? I'm like, I don't want to drive your car. Whatever, I was kind of down on myself Saturday morning. And I go back to the camp. There's probably 20 of us there at our camp, and they're like, why don't you just drive it? I'm like, all right, whatever. So I text Robert, and I said, what size is your seat? He said 15. Well, I always run a 17. He said 15. And it wasn't 30 seconds later, he's rolling up in 4-wheeler. He said, get on. I'm like, all right, guess we're doing this. So, yeah, I fit in it. Robert's probably, I'm going to say 5'1". I'm 6'6", and that's the end of the story. We had a hell of a run going to that heat. I dumped it. Yeah, my arms got crossed up, and that car turned a lot better than what I ever thought it would. So, But
You
how many supers were there? 30 total?
Yeah, with you
Well,
guys, there was
I don't
15
know how-
crates in there with the supers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we ran
half the
ninth.
field was crates.
So would you say 30?
Mm-hmm.
So we ran ninth
Yeah.
for first time ever being in a car and being in a midget's car. You know what I mean? Because Robert, I'm not dogging Robert. He's just short.
He doesn't drive like he's one of those guys.
So he's the same size in the car as everybody else.
Yes. I mean, like that kid. Like if you watched him drive, and I'll be honest, I thought he could be good. I never thought he'd start out the way he has,
Right.
and the guts and the way he runs. But when he crawls out, like if you're just a fan that just watches that car go around, you would never think Robert Rainey's going to climb out of that.
Right.
Like Isaac fit that. Like Isaac gets out, okay, that's Isaac. Like
Yeah.
Robert drives like a 6'6" guy, even
Right.
though that's not what he is.
No, not at all. But I really want to thank them because, I mean, they all seen what happened to me Friday night. You know what I mean? And it put me in their 2020 capital. You know what I mean? So if I was in their shoes, I'd be like, you drive nothing I own. You know what I mean? But that's just the kind of people they are.
Well, I'm just going to say the last two guys that Isaac put in the car won the Bowman.
They did. And guess what? Matt. Okay. I had a pretty
There
damn
you
good
go.
shot this year. So, yeah.
God.
Until he didn't spin out, Matt.
Yeah, Matt.
I will say,
But Isaac didn't put him in the Bowman, so yeah.
True.
I will say that Billy Badfast himself said that he has been in touch tonight with the bumper design department, and they're working on a custom titanium front bumper for you. So it's good old Derek Bottoms down
You
there.
know what?
looking out
He's
for
an
you.
awesome guy. I finally met him. I think it was this past weekend. I bought a few bumpers off of him, and great guy. And then I finally met him. I'm like, he's you think I don't know. He's just.
I gotta say this, like, and Matt can vouch for this at the Jackson weekend. I hadn't seen Derek because Derek's been running down in Kentucky most
That's
of the time.
what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, listen to this.
So like I've known Derek. I mean, Derek
He was on our show.
He's been on our show. He's a sponsor. Like one of the funniest stories was back when he first ran the Lightning McQueen car.
Yes.
My son really wanted a T-shirt, so I had messaged him on Facebook. Well, I walk in the trailer and I said, "Hey, Derek, I need to pick up that T-shirt from you." And he's like, "I know who you are." And I go, "Do what?" And he's like, "I listen to your show every week. I'd know that voice." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" But he walks up at the
Draw Shack.
At the Draw Shack, and I'm like, and he's talking to us, and I'm kind of looking at him, like,
Mountain Man.
and like, okay, trying to figure out who this guy is, and Matt can tell by my face, and Matt finally says like Billy Badfast himself, or I forget.
Yeah, because Dustin's looking at him like, why
and
is this
Jamie
guy?
was the same way.
Yeah,
Jamie's
Jamie and Dustin both like, why is this guy talking to us? Like, like he knows this. I'm like, well, there's Billy Badfast himself, and you see Dustin like, oh,
Yeah, it's like he went from going to Dow Jones to
Well, he went
going to Mountain Man.
Yeah,
Like
he went from man bun to the hills of Tennessee.
He did. But I tell you what,
Quick.
he's an awesome guy. He's a real good guy.
No, nothing but good
Yeah.
things about
see, Derek, I don't forget you.
Well,
That's why he came over and he's like, "Man, what do you got against my bumpers?"
see, I think he's like in the CIA, man. I think
He
he's
may be.
undercover
He may
somewhere.
be. Hopefully, he can get me a couple more cheap, without magnets.
that attract those
Yeah.
Uke tires.
Yep.
So I want to ask you this. We talked about it with the Chastain brothers on here. You know, following the Jackson 100, one post that was made was Bobby Pierce talking about Brownstown, and he said he would love to see Brownstown Speedway with a wall around it before he's done racing. Your thoughts?
That's the exact excuse I would have when I ran bad. That's all there is to it. Brownstown's Brownstown. Brownstown has not been the same track every single night this year. And that's all there is to it. Like it is the most.
And that's not
and
a knock on Jim or
I'm
how
not-
he's prepared.
I'm not knocking Brownstown Speedway.
No,
It's just-
I want because I
Yeah.
know you're not. I want to clarify
it's just,
that.
It's the most inconsistent track, but yet it's always smooth. You know what I mean? Like it just I don't know.
You can't make a setup and show up every week and say this is a setup that.
I mean, I'm sure some people do, and it's like it always throws you for a curveball. Like you go to Ponderosa, you always know what you're gonna be. You know what I mean? You go to Shady Hill, you always know anywhere in Indiana except for Brownstown. So it's different.
Well, and you know, when I traveled to Tennessee a lot this year, everything down there's got a wall. And I said, I really wish a lot of those crate guys down there would come up here because...
That's why Hedgecock come up here.
Yeah. I never talked to Hedgecock personally, but but in the sense
probably
that...
got his T-shirt on it under that.
I do. And on the
You
back...
see his T-shirt I have
him.
on, right?
Yeah.
Like Peeden said this.
On the back, it's got one of those stick figures of him peeing on the P3.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll knock the heads out of him. Anyways.
Oh my god.
Still the quote of the year. but down there, you know, when you're a guy that races with a wall, you can lean on the wall.
Right.
I mean, Bobby is famous for banging the wall and coming off of it. That's what makes Brownstown and a lot of our tracks up here so unique. You go over the top, like you said earlier. If the lap cars are running 3 wide, you can't go over the top and pass them. Like, you have to race the racetrack. You can't use that as a safety net. And so don't disagree, but I was shocked when he came out and said that because I thought that takes everything away from the Jackson. Like I never want to see a wall around.
But I believe he
Brownstown.
won the Jackson on the bottom.
He did, which is funny to me that he now he wants a wall.
Exactly.
Because
you want a wall, go to Kokomo.
I'd say he doesn't do walls either because he won the Clash and his spoiler was hanging off.
The fence.
Yes, because and there's sparks. I mean, every single turn he smoked
I love
the
Kokomo
wall.
though. Have you been to Kokomo?
Oh yeah, but I don't think that track's big enough for a late model.
Nah, I love Kokomo.
Really?
Love it, because that's in the super stock. The worst I ever ran was third there. I got a lot of wins up there, and even Clash win. I got 2 or 3 Clash wins up there, and it's just something different. It's a balls to the wall track, and it's the rush. The rush is almost like Vernon. So
really,
yeah, because North Vernon, I'm sure everybody else can vouch for it. Like you go, especially when you used to be able to diamond 3 and come off the bottom of 4. Like you would haul it in and barely crack the throttle getting into 3, and you're right against the wall. So it's a big rush. You know what I mean?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
looking ahead to next year, what's the plans?
We'll see. Like I said, Rainey ruined all this for me. I've already talked to Marshall at Capitol. We need a lot of help where we're at.
But M2 Designs has got tons of orders coming in.
They need to.
No, the business went south in the last 30 minutes.
There's also a wedding to pay for.
Yeah.
So
She'll be a Neil soon. So.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Now it's M1 Designs.
Yeah. And Steve said they're a really tight knit group, but it just went south.
No,
The group got smaller.
Here's what I want. I want a brand new Capitol. That's what I want. Is my 17 good? My 17's great. It's excellent. But I'm telling you, after driving what Rainey and them have, we could do a lot with what they have. Not just at Brownstown. I'm saying other tracks, because I hate points racing at racetracks. I hate it, and I hardly ever stick with points. Like national points, we done it just because you can go to 12 different tracks and. You know what I mean? It's different. We love going new places and
I remember when you
experiencing
did
new things.
that, because you and Jamie Wilson said at Scottsburg, man, with like 9 cars there, and he didn't wanted to leave that day.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I remember that night because Wilson's like, man, I really don't even want. We're not getting 100% points. I really don't even want to run. I was like, well, I'll tell you what, Wilson, you load up and I'll load up. Guess what? Nobody loaded up. He beat me down there.
I announced that race
gear.
at Scottsburg. I remember you guys both waiting each other out. Cause,
we did, yeah. But now they have mulligans. I didn't know this. Now they have mulligans.
Oh, really?
So even if they have 6 or 7 cars, you still get 100 points, but it's only like 2 or 3 times throughout the year. I don't know how it works. I found this out from Josh Baller.
Yeah.
And what's Baller?
I know.
Okay. Call him Baller. He likes it.
I do.
I know.
I announced him out in
I know.
Victor Lane.
But
no, we just, as far as 2021, we'll just see how the rest of 2020 goes here.
But I want to say this, because if we've got somebody out there that is a sponsor that's looking, why should they be on the P3 race car next year?
Well, I feel like we present ourselves very well on social media.
Yeah, outside of this.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Don't look at
Don't
anything I
watch-
post.
yeah.
We're instigators with this, so it's like we're to blame for tonight. So.
No, I feel
No,
like
I'm teasing.
I run this. I run my deal professionally. I feel like, every now and then you're going to screw up. Everybody's going to screw up, even if you have a Fortune 500 company. But it's obviously racing's a risk, and I'm going to be honest. This election, a lot of sponsorship relies on this election, so which is sad to say, but I mean it is what it is. So. We just try to be a respectful race team anymore.
And I'll follow this up.
We've matured a lot in 14 years.
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
I'll follow this up with my, I have to be nice now, but because we're an hour in. But I will say this, and I mean this truthfully. We give each other a lot of hell, but I would say that any sponsor out there, what I would say about you is if they put you, if they go on your car, they're going to get the most out of you. And that's what I would say about you. You're going to show up every weekend, even when stuff's tore up. You're going to thrash in the garage. You're going to show up. You're going to be competitive.
He's going to look good.
Yes, that's another big one for you.
Try hard with that, man. That's a huge thing. I mean,
well, going back to the Bowman, I mean, the whole plan was for you to make the Jackson. I know that a big struggle for you when we talked to you that morning was I don't want to go out there with beat up sheet metal.
Yeah,
I don't want to look bad.
I mean, it's just you got to look good. I mean, not your car, not physically. You know what I mean? But not
that sponsors can't help that.
You got a helmet on, that's all good.
No, it's just
costs $1,500 to cover that up.
You're supposed to be nice now, man.
Oh shit! I forgot. All right, back to that.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't know if sponsors get what they want out of a local racer. You know, like a lot of people have sponsors are because they're friends of the it's all about who you know. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So we're more pushing for the corporate side of things, and that's what I got this big sponsorship proposal. We're going down that way now. So, but it's hard to get a corporate sponsor involved in something like dirt track racing.
Oh yeah,
So,
I don't know how the Lucas Oil guys get the big corporate sponsors.
No, it's crazy what they have.
Oh yeah.
So,
well, here's the last thing that I'll say. My son just came in, had to tell me good night. So. This is a family-run affair here too.
Oh, yeah.
He buzzes right in when he needs to. Thank goodness the redhead didn't come out, or else we'd be done. he'd already shut us off. But I will say this, I do think that even when you go sponsor a local racer, because this is what I will say. No, you may not get all the broadcasts and the notoriety that you're going to get with a Lucas Oil guy. But it goes back to exactly what you just said earlier, talking about Circle City Plumbing. The word of mouth thing is huge in small business, and
it is.
I can say wholeheartedly, and I know Matt's the same way. I reach out to guys that I know sponsor guys at the track. If I need something, I'm going to call somebody that I know sponsors somebody at the track because I want to do my part to try and help that. So if I need a new water heater, I'm going to call somebody that's helping at the track, and that word of mouth is huge because I'm going to reach out and say, hey, Peeden, Circle City Plumbing, hook me up with that connection.
Right.
So I do think, even though you don't see it as far as the glitz and the glamour in a say, I think they get a lot of return in just that word of mouth and what the way you handle yourself and promote them.
Right. And that Circle City, they'll come down here. So just throwing that out there.
If my water heat goes out, they'll be my call.
Hey, anything. water softener or anything, he can do it. And if you need a snow blade for your S10 out there, look up Mower Zone out of Danville.
Oh, he got a
Indiana.
Jeep, man. He'll put a snowblade on a Jeep.
Hey, whatever works.
Hey, you can hate on the Jeep.
All my sponsors, everybody that's involved with me it's more on a personal level, and that's what we treat sponsors as, is a personal level, not just like if we had Nutrient Ag, okay, we're not gonna put.
You're
on
not
front.
sitting out with the CEO.
No, like I'm, you know what I mean. We'll sit down and drink beer with them. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
So that's just who we are, and that's how we conduct our business.
Well, I will say this, and again, we've gone through a lot of stuff tonight, but I will say, this is my nice side.
Oh shit!
He wants something from you. I'm telling
Cut.
you.
Out of
Cut.
I will say, out of everybody at the track, you're one of my favorite people, because we can walk by and give each other hell,
Right.
and again, my favorite clip from the go-kart race was when you told me I was the #1 announcer in Paragon. I mean, at least that's how I read the hand signal that you gave me.
That's because I wasn't there.
Because
Would have been double then.
but no, man, Steve, I appreciate you. And ladies, M2 Designs, you guys are killing it. Keep it up. Like I said, I know how tight knit you are, but I've always felt like from the get go that you invited us in like family as far as what we do. And we appreciate you and what you do to push us and everything we're doing. We're big fans. We're going to keep supporting you, man.
Well, that's how I am with Throttled Up, Dirt to Media. So
We appreciate it.
well, I didn't say you. I said,
Well, I am part of Throttled Up.
We're gonna pull our sponsorship.
Yeah, he knows M2's out next year. He's trying to work on something else.
well, are we closing? Are we done?
We're done.
Well, I got to thank some people.
All right, go at it.
M2 Designs. My sister's here. This one's getting married. I got to walk her down the aisle. So, yeah. Dirt to Media ought to be there to record all this. I'm telling
That's
you.
what we should have live broadcast the wedding.
Oh God.
That-
We're not going to
that
put
would actually
anything
be
in front of
pretty
him
good.
either.
Yeah.
I gotta say this.
I'm afraid Steve will knock Tyler out of the aisle, though.
The only time I hit him all year.
I gotta say this though, as I went back and watched all the go-karting stuff, the one thing I think we really missed was how I've not cut a highlight of Anna getting in the go-kart and racing. Like, how that's not on Dirt to Media is like a major thing, is Anna O'Neill in a go-kart.
Yeah.
I watched that and I thought, Ryan, we really missed the boat on this deal. Like,
did.
we should have used that, but
But now I need to thank, obviously, my fiance Jamie. She supports me. Kenzie, little crew chief. Cannon, he's a little crew chief too. And obviously, Mike Fish and Cody Harden, they help me out when I need help desperately. They're always there, it seems like. I'll say Tyler. Yeah. I feel like I helped Tyler out in the super stock, but we try and kind of trade back and forth on the late model, but he's kind of secretive and I'm kind of secretive, so it's like we're just throwing bait out there, seeing which one bites first.
Who will change?
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw this screwed up idea.
Exactly.
That's actually how you test. You call Tyler and you say, "Hey, I was thinking about maybe running this."
Yeah. And obviously my mom and Glenn, my mom will go to every single race if she could, and that good or bad, hit the Uke tires, flip over, whatever. She's always gonna be like, "Well, that was a great race." Like, "Well, that's the first lap of the race, Mom." You know what I mean? But my mom's always there and supportive. So we're a real close family, and a lot of people don't have what we have, so it makes it even special, to have all of our families always at the racetrack every single weekend. So even if we drive 4 or 5 hours away, Morgan usually doesn't come, but Megan's sometimes there.
Okay.
I will say they
Well,
make
she's always
the
a
best
Tyler.
box cars too. You guys, the Peedens.
That's these two.
Yeah.
They
the
always
Peedens
make
always
the
show up with the best
cars.
box cars
Yeah.
on.
She let us down
Can't
this
finish
year,
the
though.
race, but
Yeah,
She
what
let us
what
down
happened
this
this
year.
year with the box car race?
He tripped.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
bro.
hit the Uke tire.
He scorpioned on
If
the
I
front
would,
stretch.
you know what? The very first time I put that go kart on the track this year, and I just looped it and looped it and looped it, I should have looked back at that and been like, "This is 2020. You may want to just
We just need to park it.
chill out with all racing for the year."
I would have said when you came through the hay bale right there at the start finish line, that probably would have been when I'd have said it's time to go.
That night he couldn't figure after you guys all left.
Yeah.
He could not figure those turns out.
Yep.
He ran at least 150 laps. He
Yep.
was out
Oh,
there
I
by
believe
himself.
that.
He stopped for gas, put it back in there, went
filled
back
up
out
5
just by
times.
himself. Just kept going.
Because
going.
when we were leaving, he was mad we didn't have the cameras going anymore because he was out there running laps. And I'm like, we're going back to Seymour, man. I'd spent too much time over with Don at the back of the SUV over there.
We had a lot of fun
I
there.
had to get home.
It was a good time. But thank Throttled Up, Dirt to Media. You guys are doing great for what for what you guys have. You guys are doing awesome.
Well,
So,
we appreciate it. And like,
I want this to be Barstool.
I mean, that's what.
But that was our goal.
Or
when
pit stool. I mean, come
Yeah.
up, come on, man. You're a little Dave Portnoy. I know you are.
we started this from the beginning, man, and it does, and I mean this wholeheartedly. Like, we really thought it'd be Matt and I every week sitting here talking, and the fact that just like you, I mean, you drove down from Martinsville today. I mean, that's
I didn't drive. They drove.
yeah, because of those tires on the 65. But to get you guys to come down, like, no matter how much hell we give each other, like, this means a ton to me that you would come down on a Wednesday night, sit down with us and talk, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
When we started the first episode, Dustin tells me these only last about five episodes and they fade out, man.
80%.
And we're at
What are
what,
you-
107 tonight?
This is 107 episode.
That's pretty good. And I've even watched your what's your hunting one?
Who's your,
Hardwood-
Strutting and Rutting now.
Yeah,
Who's
so
your
I
hardwood?
watched that the other night, and these guys were talking all this deer stuff, and I'm like, this is why I race.
Well,
I could not sit there in the woods and wait and like.
the funny thing is I produce it for them, and they get mad at me sometimes because I'm usually over here on my phone watching some race video, and they're like, they'll ask me something, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'll tune back in now because I'm over here watching, some dirt track thing.
Oh, you shot the deer after 7 hours.
Yeah.
Cool, awesome. Hey, a lot of people are into it. I'm not.
Oh,
I go to Kroger's, buy the meat, be done with it. So
I married a cattle farmer's daughter, so
There you go.
our freezer's full anyway.
cool. Let's rate it for release.
So go ahead. Hey, but again, thanks everybody. Matt, this will be just for everybody watching. We'll start our every other week now here at the end of the year. The one thing that I do want to say though, obviously dirt track season's wrapping up, but with Dirt to Media, huge weekend, Salem Speedway, the Halloween 200. You can watch all the action live on Dirt to Media. It sounds like one of the biggest car counts they've had in several years.
Is that free with the subscription?
No, that one's going to cost you.
Okay.
That one's going to cost you. It's $24.99 pay-per-view. Now, all the practice, all the stuff on Saturday, we're going to put out free on the Dirt to Media Facebook page. $24.99 pay-per-view on Sunday. Watch the entire Halloween 200. Chuck Barnes Jr., last year's winner, trying to come back and repeat again this year. Should be one heck of a race, and excited to be down there and doing that this weekend. So tune in, Dirt to Media Halloween 200 this weekend. So thanks everybody, and we'll be back here in 2 weeks.
I don't know. I keep getting excuses on my phone. I wouldn't be on there.
Why are you texting Peeden? And with that, we'll see everybody in 2 weeks.
Damn.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.